Bama gets a big win, not without a few questions, but you know what? It's all positive on tonight's podcast.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson, that's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. We'll talk about Mazda in just a little bit. Want to thank you every day for being here every day. Thank you, newbies, for being here today. And thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen every single day. You guys are the best. Alabama gets the win over Wisconsin, mostly in dominating fashion. Mostly. Yes, there were some moments in the second half where you go, but you know what, Jimmy? We're saving the moments for tomorrow because today we're going to be positive. I've got some moments to talk about, but both on the field and off.
Well, I thought it was overwhelmingly positive. I mean,
overwhelmingly, sure. Yeah.
38 to 14. Offense really good. Ty Simpson really played at a National Player of the Week level. I mean, I don't know that he's going to win that award, but Ty Simpson played at a level where he could be awarded National Player of the Week honors, although a guy that might bump him out of that is Ryan Williams, who also played with two just highlight touchdowns that were just spectacular. But Ty was phenomenal. Ryan was phenomenal. Jeremy Bernard was Jeremy Bernard again, one of the best wide receivers in all of college football. I really will admit that at this point, I mean, I sort of underestimated Jerm a little bit, not a lot, but I underestimated him a little bit in the offseason. I didn't really think he would have this level to his game, but he really is playing like a potential first-round pick. Now, there's a long, long way to go. Offensive line, pretty good. Now, we got to work on that. Got to work on the run game. I'm sure that's something we'll spend some time on tomorrow if we're going to do negative stuff tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the run game tomorrow. But overall, the pass game was phenomenal, really. Ryan and Jerm, phenomenal. And defensively, that's a Power 4 football team that we held to 7 points in 60 minutes. They only had about 200 yards offense. They didn't really have a lot of success on the ground or in the air. We forced some turnovers, got 4 sacks. Shout out to Luke for going over on the 2 sacks. We did that. So I just think it was an A performance, if not an A+. I'm going to say it's an A, period. Special teams, obviously, giving up that kickoff return. Again, we'll discuss tomorrow. But no, I just think it was a phenomenal performance coming off Louisiana Monroe, and we just watched Georgia Tennessee. That's why we went on a little later. And boy, we have our work cut out for us. Georgia is an outstanding football team. Of course, there's dudes all over the field.
Yeah, let me say this. Let's start with the most positive of everything, and that's Ty Simpson. Look, I understand there's still people with doubts. Don't blame you. Totally get it. But if he didn't relieve you of some of these doubts, if he didn't alleviate some of your fears today, I'm just afraid you've already made your mind up so much it's not going to matter. His throws were good. In fact, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Without one crucial drop by Ryan Williams in the end zone, he has 5 touchdowns and right at 400 yards. And he probably comes out of the game then, so you don't even have the drop by Lots Brooks later on in the game, is what I'm saying. So Ty Simpson, he's escaped when he needed to escape. He showed some escapability. He stood in the pocket. He made some good – the throw to Isaiah Horton for the touchdown was awesome. In fact, at first, I want to give Isaiah Horton some flowers too, because at first I thought it was way too hard and I thought it was a fastball unnecessarily. But then I saw the replay. I was like, no, that was what needed to happen. And again, he is going through his progressions. He's running when he needs to. Shoot it. I don't know where it ended up. I mean, I'm going to look at the stats in a second. He was our leading rusher for a pretty good while, which
he ended as leading rusher. And again, if we're going to do the negative stuff tomorrow, I'm probably going to lead with the fact that Ty was the leading rusher with 25 yards. But one of Ty's runs late in the second half, I just loved it. He not only flashed the speed and the athleticism, he deked a Wisconsin dude almost to the ground when he faked and gave him kind of a little dead leg move.
Yep.
Ty was phenomenal. Again, I think he played at a national player of the week level, and he's coming off a performance in which he was 17 for 17. Now, I know it's Monroe and Wisconsin. I know that. No one has to remind me who they played, but no one played college football quarterback any better than Ty Simpson has last week and this week. No one's been better last week and this week. Now, I'm not disregarding what happened in week 1. That's why I'm limiting it. Last week and this week, no one has been better playing that position in the country than Ty Simpson. Does that mean he's going to be great against Georgia and Athens? No, it doesn't mean that. But last 2 weeks, phenomenal play, Ty. Oh, mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, totally agree.
Probably said something really wise, too. Dang it.
You missed it. There'll be another opportunity. Don't worry. Quick shout out to a couple of folks. I had several people stop me and say, hey, listen to the show. I didn't get all their names. But Lucia, whose husband listens to the show, and her husband said to me, hey, Luke, this is Lucia, and she's my wife, and she has to listen to you in the morning. And I thought it was funny. She said, man, you sound just like you sound on the podcast. I was like, that's good, right? That's good. But I mean,
if we faked voices, this is not what we
said. I talked like Kermit the Frog the whole podcast. Anyway, all right. Then Scott Wadsworth, I saw him after the game, and he shook my hand. Super nice guy, and appreciate it. And also saw a lady earlier in the day that stopped me and talked to me with her husband there, and that made it a little weird. But she was like a big fan, so appreciate it. Okay, Ty was great. I'm with you. Honestly, I'm going to pull up the stats here in just a minute when you go on a rant, but I mean, he should have had 400 yards. Mm-hmm. He should have had 5 touchdowns. This is a Wisconsin team where they have deficiencies on offense. We know this. I know that. I think even their backup center went out for a minute today. Now, I was watching it in the stands, so I hadn't rewatched everything, but I want to say their backup center got hurt at least for a little bit today. I don't know.
The top guy, Renfro, played, and he played a lot of the game, but he went out a time or two. The top guy, Renfro, he played, and he went out a time or two and was replaced by the backup guy who may have, they had a few guys out, but kudos to them for not folding and dying of cramp. I thought, boy, it's for those who weren't there at the game, it was insanely hot. I thought the Wisconsin kids would be falling out like crazy, and they didn't. They're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It was weirdly hot. And what's even dumber, if there's some Locked On Badger people listening to this, then like I said on the podcast earlier, hey, it ought to be pretty nice, pretty unseasonably nice for y'all. No, it wasn't. It was bad. It wasn't the worst it could be, but it was bad. I didn't like that.
It's been worse, but it was pretty bad. It's because it was no breeze, a high sun. I guess I never looked at the temperature. I think it was around 88, 89, but God, it felt like 100. It was brutally hot. Now, I've been there for a lot of hot games. That was up there. But hey, shout out also to the Wisconsin fans.
I like
a lot of Alabama fans who had a lot of interaction with Wisconsin fans yesterday and today. And everyone raved about how nice the Wisconsin fans were and how appreciative they were of Alabama's traditions and the campus and the stadium. Really cool fan base. And, I'll be pulling for you guys to win a few Big Ten games.
Yeah, I like Wisconsin folks. They were really nice. There was again, I wish that you guys could have gotten more of a sense of a true SEC atmosphere. The 11 o'clock thing sort of, again, we can talk about that tomorrow. But regardless, I think we need to lead the show off with Ty, and that's what we've done. And Ty, here's what's weird, Jimmy. Some people are calling you out a little bit. I'm happy to see it. They normally call me out. But that, you loved you some Arch Manning, and I watched Arch Manning today. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have Ty Simpson 100 days out of 100. I'm telling you, Arch Manning is just not very good right now. He's just not good.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I'm stunned and wrong, and not, by the way, won't be the last time I'm wrong. We sort of dole out 100 opinions a day here.
Yeah, we're going to be wrong.
I'm going to be wrong again. But I'm very wrong about Arch so far.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But, you give me those pauses, it messes me up. You know that. But I do need to tell everybody about Mazda anyway, so it kind of worked out. Mazda moving the game forward. This episode is brought to you by Mazda, moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, they keep moving the game forward. This week's moment to move the game forward is, you know what? I'm going to say it's Jeremy Bernard's first touchdown. That was something special in the sense that I thought that sort of everybody had a huge sigh of relief. And I wish it would be a running back that would get the running play there, but we had to do what we had to do. And Jeremy Bernard came through because that's the kind of dude he is. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, because you move and want to be moved. I'm not sure I did that right, but I think you did. We're going, whatever.
I think when you shout out Germ and the Mazda read, you should do your Germ
Bernard making people sick. Yeah. Now speaking of Jeremy Bernard, again, another just solid. You talk about you can set your watch by him. Yeah. You can just, he's just going to be there. He's a dude.
Dependable.
Ryan Williams. The first touchdown is better than you think because first of all, it's the first play of the second half. Like everybody's not in their seat good. And we do a double reverse screenplay, which is kind of like, we hadn't seen any of that. And I thought the play was broken at first. I thought we were going to try and throw it deep. And then when I watched the highlight of it, I was like, oh no, that's the plan. The whole stuff. And Wisconsin didn't play it pitifully. They had some dudes there available to tackle Ryan that we didn't necessarily block super well, but they just couldn't block him. And couldn't tackle him. And then he took off. Yeah.
Yeah. And also I want to give a shout out to maybe didn't have the most awesome day overall, but Caden Proctor blocking downfield on that Ryan Williams touchdown.
Oh,
a thing of beauty.
He pancaked the dude.
The NFL is going to love that clip. Yep. For 366 pounds or gosh knows what he weighs, probably lost 20 pounds just playing in the heat today. That was just a phenomenal block by Caden Proctor and just a great play. And again, he got beat a couple of times during the game, but wow, on that play, that's going to get NFL scouts standing up.
Lee Townsend, I got to say this, buddy. First of all, I appreciate you watching, and we will talk about the drops tomorrow. I'm saving them for tomorrow. But you say Ryan Williams is the new Mr. Drop. He sucks. Get him off the field with these gloves these days. No drops is what's allowed. No, he's awesome. And there were two plays that showed that so incredibly clearly. Yes, he had a bad drop, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But the second touchdown made the first touchdown look routine. The way that he just put on the brakes, and a Wisconsin dude went flying by. And the only other time I've seen somebody do that well was David Palmer.
I'm glad we didn't bench Julio Jones when he had a lot of drops in 08 and 09 because Julio had significant drops. Who knows how many times Ryan's going to have drops between last year and this year, but it's probably not going to be any more than Julio did in 08 and 09. And he worked on it, and he worked on it, and he worked on it. And then in the NFL, he had figured it out. And that's something Ryan's going to have to work on. But I strongly disagree that he sucks. I think he's on a short handful of the very best players in all of college football. He does have to work on that issue, sure. But he's 18 years old. He has to work on everything. Route running, blocking, getting stronger in the weight room. But no doubt the drops are a thing. They're a thing. It'd be like a running back who's a good back, but he fumbles the ball. Mm-hmm. You don't give up on those guys. You teach them to secure the football. Ryan obviously has good hands, obviously. But to me, it's kind of like an all-star shortstop. Sometimes you see this in the big leagues, a shortstop who makes the highlight plays. You see him on SportsCenter top 10, and then every now and then he'll boot the routine play that most high school shortstops can make routinely, and then you see this Major League All-Star boot it, even though he's really good at the circus catches. You just got to work on it. You got to work on it until you can't get it wrong, and I'm sure Ryan will. I don't really worry about it a lot, but we'll talk about it more in depth tomorrow.
Lee Townsend, I appreciate you, buddy, because you just came back with another comment, said he doesn't suck. I like him. I get frustrated. Dude, welcome to Alabama fandom. Come on in. This is what we do every day of our lives, literally. Okay. One more positive thing that I want to throw out there, and then we can spend the third segment on the defense. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you, we talked about Jeremy Bernard. I think you could give, I know about the one thing somebody's going to bring up. I thought Lots Brooks looked pretty good out there at times. Sure. I mean, I had some dudes that were sitting next to me in the skybox. It wasn't my skybox, but I got to sit in one. And they were like, "Who's 17?" I was like, "Yeah, you're not going to be saying who that is much longer. You're going to know who he is." But another dude that I thought played well, and people are going to be like, "I'm looking at stats, I don't see that." Dre Washington. Yeah. When he came in, 2 carries, 13 yards, and a catch for 15, and he also had some nice blocks, especially when I saw on one of the sacks early, I saw Richard Young get blown up trying to stop a blitz.
He also played before Daniel Hill did, and it's kind of strange. When we started the Florida State game, obviously Jam's been out. When we started Florida State, if I remember right, the pecking order versus Florida State was Rich Young, then Daniel Hill, then Dre Washington, then Kevin Riley.
Yeah.
Now, just a couple of weeks later, it's Kevin Riley, Rich Young, Dre Washington, Daniel Hill came in last of the 4. Pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm with Luca. Dre looked as good on his rep or 2 than any of the backs today, including Kevin Riley, who I wouldn't say was disappointing. I'm blaming some of that more on the interior of the offensive line. But Kevin Riley's numbers were just flat out not good today. And I'm not – we'll talk about tomorrow all of the people to blame for that. But we can't have a starting running back have 2.9 yards per carry. No. Can't have that. Not playing who we're about to play in 8 of the next 9 games. And I'm talking about that SEC competition.
Yeah, and I had, again, some of the people I'm sitting with, they were like, I want us to establish the run. And I said, I get it. But it felt like Wisconsin wasn't going to let us do that. Now, it felt like their scheme was like, you're not going to run on us. And we didn't give them credit. So what they were, again, I'm not speaking for Luke Fickell. It felt like their scheme was, Ty Simpson, you have to beat us. Well, he did, and he showed us what he can do. And so I think it worked out for the better long term, because I think it's easier to work on the running game than it is the passing game in the middle of the season.
And I think Alabama fans probably have a view of Wisconsin that's a little skewed. Alabama played one of their best games of 2024 when they beat them 42-10 last year. Mm-hmm. And then Alabama played very well today and made the game sort of non-competitive. This Wisconsin team pushed Penn State and pushed Oregon. Those were close 60-minute games a year ago. And as we know, both Oregon and Penn State made the playoff. Penn State makes the Final Four. Oregon goes into the playoff as the favorite to win it. And Wisconsin played them in 60-minute football games. I think we have a skewed view of Wisconsin, like, oh, they're just not very good. Well, they're not great. They're clearly not great. They're also not terrible. This is a Power 4 football team with a lot of highly recruited big guys, and they decided Alabama wasn't going to have success on the ground, and give them some credit for stopping it. But it is a thing for Alabama. And it's one of the things we'll harp on tomorrow when we go all dark cloud on y'all tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's best to go dark cloud on Sunday morning. Like, let's be positive tonight. But I'll tell you one other thing. And some people may look at it as a negative that we didn't maybe throw it around to as many people as we should have. Like, where's Rico Scott? Cole Adams didn't have a catch. Things like that. But I'm cool with establishing Isaiah Horton as more of a target. I'm cool with Jeremy Bernard getting as many tosses as possible. I'm cool with Ryan Williams getting all he can get. So, and then, Caleb Edwards made a catch for 12 yards. Cuevas, I think he only had 1 catch. Kevin Riley had 3 catches for 28 yards. He had 7 carries for 20 yards. He was just better out of the backfield. In his hands, somebody brought it up, his hands are underrated. So, yeah.
1 catch was outstanding. As a matter of fact, I didn't get a clear view of it, and I didn't see the number. So whenever I was surprised when he got up, and I'm like, that's 28, because I thought it was the wide receiver that caught the ball that he caught down inside the 10-yard line. That was just a fantastic catch by Kevin Riley, who does have good hands, clearly.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, and again, I think that's why he's in there playing right now. I think because he does have good hands. We need a back that's capable of doing that and get some bad matchup with linebackers.
And my information is I fully anticipate Jam Miller being back for Georgia. Not only being back, I think Jam Miller will be RB1 against Georgia, which he should be. And I think we're going to see the best Jam Miller we've seen in his time at Alabama. And then Kevin Riley will be a really nice change of pace back to Jam Miller in his newer role as RB2. And they'll be interesting to see who gets any carries in that RB3 role. Will it be Rich Young? Will it be Trey Washington? Or will it be Daniel Hill? The depth there is interesting, but let's be honest. We can talk about how talented these kids are. What we need to see is production.
Yeah.
Because just because we think they're good doesn't matter. What does matter? Moving the ball on the ground and accumulating yardage and first downs and eventually touchdowns.
One more thing I want to say. I told you guys earlier a few days ago that, hey, I had some information Jam Miller may be playing, and I felt really good he'd play. My understanding, that was nixed by the coaches sort of last minute. Like, it just became a thing, like, do we really want to roll the dice on that? Personally, I would have liked to have seen him out there get some game day reps. I understand where the coaches are coming from, too, because Jam Miller's been a starter for a while. He's played a lot of minutes, and so maybe it's not that big of a deal in their eyes. I totally understand that, too, but I don't want y'all to think I was blowing smoke. This came from an impeccable source. So, again, I would have liked to have seen him out there. Maybe that would have made a bit of a difference. Who knows? But we ended up covering a 21-point spread, so let's not act like it was awful. Want to tell you guys now about DripDrop. You know, look, I have DripDrop. They sent me some DripDrop. I love the DripDrop. It's been fantastic. It's delicious. There isn't a flavor I don't like of DripDrop. I'm telling you that right now. If you're trying to stay on top of your routine, that whether it's workout or long days on campus or staying focused through the back-to-back classes, whatever it is, hydration is where it all starts. And that's where DripDrop comes in. DripDrop is a doctor-developed and scientifically proven method for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of a leading sports drink. My go-to flavor is all of them. I'm supposed to pick one. I can't because I don't care. I just reach in like blindfolded and pick one out because they're all delicious. Right now, DripDrop is offering listeners of Locked On 20% off your first order. Just head to DripDrop.com and use promo code Locked On College, baby. That's DripDrop.com, promo code Locked On College for 20% off. Stock up now because I'm telling y'all, if you were at that game, you know I'm right. It's hot. You want to be hydrated, yo. Don't mess around with this. Then DoorDash. I'm going to use DoorDash right after this podcast, and I ain't kidding. I should post it, screenshot it, but I'm not going to. It's almost the weekend. It is the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. For Alabama, Ty Simpson delivered in a big way. He did so much of everything today. Really appreciate what he put on the field. When the pressure was on, it wasn't very often, but when it was on, he came through. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this performance wasn't a fluke. Ty Simpson is on a streak right now. And just like Ty Simpson delivered for Alabama, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday on your order. Stack it up all season, and you could save $250, including 100 in DoorDash credits. Order today. You got time. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with FanDuel. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. Want to say this, talking about the defense a little bit. I hate that they gave up the late touchdown on the pass. I hate that because they should have had their second straight shutout for the defense. Now, I know we gave up a kickoff return, and that was bad, but all the other kickoffs went in the end zone. And because we got some unsportsmanlike, which I haven't seen it, so was it Ryan Williams doing a dance or something?
No. It was once again. Gosh, I don't know why Alabama does this more than other teams, but a player was running down the sidelines in the referee restricted area and trucked an official in the area that no player or coach is supposed to be in. See, if the area where officials work, That's their working space. It is against the rules for any player to be in that space. And a player celebrating Ryan's touchdown ran over an official in the referee restricted area.
Okay. I feel better that it's not Ryan. So I feel
it
terrible that I've never heard of this rule before us, and we've done it twice.
Yeah, Georgia did it, I think, in a significant moment, maybe the SEC championship game or something. I mean, I've seen it, but you're right. Alabama's done it twice, and it's sort of almost a new thing. Oh, Alabama did it in the bowl game against Michigan.
That's what it was.
And
Kyle says I'm ordering wings from DoorDash as we speak. You the man, Kyle. Be sure to use that promo code and get some, get your streaks going and all those things. So, that's me clapping if the audio isn't clear enough or whatever, and you're not watching, because I'm clapping for Mr. Bray Hubbard. Let me tell you this, Jimmy. He took some heat, rightfully so. 100% deserved it. Mm-hmm. He owned it. And then today he got 2 picks. I need to look up his other defensive stats. He made some monster hits.
It was the
he made some good hits.
Wasn't just the picks, the monster hits. He played phenomenal. Just as I said about Ty, Bray Hubbard played today at a National Player of the Week level. He could easily win National Defensive Player of the Week based on that performance. I don't know that he will. I don't know what everybody else is going to do. He played well enough to do it.
He played well enough, certainly, to be SEC Defensive Player of the Week. And again, coming from 2 weeks ago, when frankly, I would have been fine if he was benched, to this is a huge step forward, and you got to give him a lot of credit.
Oh, absolutely. Defense, I thought, was fantastic. Look, again, you're playing a Power 4 football team from the Big Ten that's going to win 6 or 7 games this year, maybe more. And you hold them to 7 points in 60 minutes. You held the passer. He's a pretty good little player. He's probably going to be something over his college career. You held him to an inefficient day. They were inefficient throwing the ball. You sacked the quarterback 4 times when he only had 1 sack in 2 games.
Huge.
You picked him off twice, and you limit their running game to less than 100 yards. And that's kind of Wisconsin's thing and what they're known for. I think the defense was – I give them an A. And if I'm wrong, I should be giving them an A+. 7 points, 200 yards, and with a National Defensive Player of the Week performance from your safety and 4 sacks, that's an A, no doubt. 2 weeks in a row, Alabama's defense has played really, really well. Now, don't tell me, but Jimmy, that's just Monroe, Wisconsin. I know. I was there. I know they played, but they still played great. They did what really good teams do. Does that mean they're really good? We'll find out starting 2 weeks from now. But if they are really good, they did what really good teams do the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, again, Bray Hubbard deserves all the flowers. London Simmons coming in, playing well. Again, I know it was against a backup center sometimes, and maybe in the third. So what?
Lee Townsend backing, back from that questionable first comment is now on fire.
Looks like Bray Hubbard.
With this 20-second basketball update, Caleb Holt was in T-Town within the last few days. Actually, he's here right now as we speak. I'm in Tuscaloosa. Caleb Holt's in Tuscaloosa. Luke was in Tuscaloosa.
Let me say this. This isn't necessarily super insider stuff. I did happen to talk to somebody that did speak to Caleb Holt last night, who just happens to be a student. And he was like, yeah, I feel like we got a really good shot. Now, did Caleb Holt say, man, I'm coming here and don't you tell anybody, especially not Locked on Bama? No, I think it was more an assumption based on the time Caleb Holt was having. And I feel very good about that. And I know this is a football podcast and I know all those things. Caleb Holt committing to Alabama basketball would be about as big as anybody that we could get committed on this year's football list. So Caleb Holt is huge. I'm telling y'all, he's huge. He's a monster deal. And if we get him, everybody needs to celebrate it. So Jimmy, we'll end it right here because we've said a lot of positives and we do want to get to some things that, were troubling. But here's one more positive I'll leave you with. That yes, we didn't play our best. That's the positive. We beat a Big Ten opponent with a very strong history that has some good players, and we beat them thoroughly, and it never really was in doubt. And we covered a 21-point spread, and the last quarter and a half, we kind of played like butt.
Yeah. It could have easily been 42 if not for a drop pass in the end zone that we'll talk about tomorrow. But it could have easily scored 42 against a Big Ten football team that's pretty good, especially pretty good on defense, held them to 7 points. This is a good win. Now it gets real. And we already have one strike against us with that loss in Tallahassee. So we have to be really good in these 8 SEC games that start. Thankfully, we have 2 weeks to preview the Georgia game. I don't know that it's enough time to preview how big the game is, not because Alabama already has a loss, but national perception. Alabama took a big hit week 1. You earn a lot of that back with a good performance in Athens.
There's no doubt, and it's going to be a fun one. Georgia-Tennessee was a great game today. I want everybody to be able to go watch these great games going on right now, so we're going to call it quits, but we will be back tomorrow. Appreciate all you. And, man, as always, Jimmy, I don't know if you saw anybody that said anything today, but I love seeing people say stuff. Come up and speak to us. I promise you. We'll give you shout-outs. I promise you we will. So until tomorrow, everybody, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.